Hi and welcome back to the Podiatrist TV. In this episode I want to talk to you about diabetes and more importantly diabetes and feet. Now diabetes is on the rise and in rapid fashion. It's becoming almost epidemic in Australia. Not that bad, but you get the idea. Now the impact on the feet is significant. When diabetes, we have it for a very long time or it is uncontrolled, it can have dire effects on our general health and well-being. Now the poor old feet, they tend to get forgotten about, but the reality is because they're so far away from everything else, they are highly at risk. So when someone comes in to see us here at the Podiatrist, we want to get a really good understanding of how the patient's general health is, how their diabetes is going, what stage they're at, how they're monitoring it, and what level of control are they currently displaying, and also what education have they had around their diet, their exercise, and looking after themselves with respect to diabetes. Now when it comes to the feet, the things that I get particularly concerned about is the circulation and the nerves. And the way I explain it is this: if you think about a blood vessel leaving your heart and going all the way down to the tips of your toes, that blood vessel gets narrower and narrower and narrower the further it goes. Now part of diabetes, if left unchecked or we have it for a very long time, can actually contribute to narrowing of that blood pathway, which makes it harder for the blood to get all the way to the end of your toes and then return back to the heart. So this means that the health of the tissues down around the toes, the feet and the lower leg become compromised and far greater chance of becoming damaged, getting infection and perhaps not healing. And not healing, that's when we start to hear about things where a small cut or abrasion or a blister that would normally heal does not, and that's where ulcers and far worse can start to come along. Now you couple this with nerve function. Now when a nerve leaves your spinal cord and goes all the way down to your toes and back, when you have diabetes for a long time or it's left uncontrolled, it can actually start to erode the insulation layer around the outside of a nerve. Think of the plastic around the outside of an electrical cord. Now as that outer layer is eroded, it means the messages aren't conveyed back and forward as they should. Now what this means is if we have damage to those nerves in our feet, we can start to get pins and needles. We can start to get burning and we can start to get numbness. Now the pins and needles and the burning, they're probably just going to drive you crazy more than anything, but it's the numbness that is the real concern, because it's the numbness, as a result we can't detect the pain, we can't tell if something's hot, we can't tell if something's cold, we can't tell if something is digging in or causing irritation at the foot. And again, if you couple this with poor circulation, you might have a blister or you might have a cut that would normally heal and it does not, and you are unaware of it because you might not be able to get down to your feet. The eyesight might not be as good. So poor circulation, poor nerve function is a really dangerous combination. So what we want to do is assess both to see how is your circulation, what do we need to be aware of, how is your nerve function, what do we need to be a look at there. Next we want to have a look at how do the feet look themselves, how are the nails, how's the skin, is there any corns, calluses, ingrown toenails, anything that we need to be wary of, or any potential sites where damage could occur. We then look to evaluate the footwear to make sure we've got appropriate footwear to make sure our feet are safe and comfortable and not going to get injured. Next we look at how does the foot actually function. So how do you stand, how do you walk, how do you move, is there anything where there's too much pressure or something not functioning properly. So we do all of these things to compile a report so you get a really clear idea of where you are with your general foot health. We couple this with education around how to look after your feet when you have diabetes, which at the end of the day, it's just a really good foot hygiene habits. And so I encourage every single person, if you have diabetes, to come in and get a full assessment to assess how's the nerve function, how's the circulation function, how's the footwear, how's the skin and nails, and certainly how is the function of my foot and leg. And this way we can make sure we're doing all the things possible to make sure there's minimum side effects with the diabetes. And hopefully they found this interesting. It's certainly something we see a huge amount of, and it's something we put a lot of time and energy into here at the Podiatrist, because diabetes affects so many people, and if we do the right things, we can certainly minimize the side effects of it. So I hope you found this worthwhile. Thank you for watching.